Hello everyone, my name is Shuman Paul. I am from Sharjah University of Science and Technology, Sylhet, Bangladesh. Today I am going to present my pre-study on Civic Amenity Center in different neighborhoods of Chittagong that I have done in my thesis in BArch under architect Tanvir Hassan's supervision. So the first thing we are going to talk about is the context of the study, that are the fundamental things in the research area. In Bangladesh, high-density cities are facing a chronic urban issue. In the cities, public amenity buildings are designed in top-down method, which creates a gap with their user demand. They don't have amenities in the walkable distance in their neighborhoods, which raises a question. Now, we will look at our contextual situations. So, our study area is in Chittagong. In Chittagong, land scarcity is a major problem like any other megacities. Due to land scarcity, there is no proper civic spaces around the city. With the help of World Bank and BMDF, Chittagong City Corporation did a survey all over the city. They selected several sites for proper civic and community spaces with required amenities. And according to CDA, there is a plan for community focal point at every community, which can be rated with this project. Now let's talk about the research questions. Here are some research questions. First one is, what is the current morphology of civic and open spaces? How do people behave in civic and open spaces? What would be the new morphology or guidelines for civic amenity center? Here are some references I have frequently used in the presentation. Next, we will be talking about the current morphology, a study finding the current morphology of the selected neighborhood. Next, we'll talk about the user behavior, a study finding the mass behavior in civic spaces. And then new morphology, a study finding new morphology of civic amenity center. These are the methods that I have used in my research. One is data collection, second one is data analysis and observation, and then analysis and process. For this paper, we have selected a commercial neighborhood in Chittagong that is called Feringi Bazar. In here, we can see the parallel projection of figure ground, land use, building heights, roads, blue network and amenities map of the study area and its surroundings within a half-kilometer radius. Mostly we can see it is a dense area with significant commercial functions, mid-rise structures, and the site is close to the Karnafuli River. In this site there is no proper amenity building. From observation and data collection, we have sketched the infographic, orientation, approach, entrance, spatial organization, and configuration of path. We have done a physical questionnaire as well to understand the requirements of amenity centers. With the help of verbal interviews and sketches, we have made a mind mapping and that shows the proximity of distinctive elements. We have findings on our observations on the basis of the values of responsive environment. In this slide, we have sketched the path, node, edge, landmark, and district from the distinctive elements as the elements of the legibility value. Likewise, the observations and findings on permeability, variety, robustness, richness, and visual appropriateness of the study have been carved out. For new morphology, the first thing in the function element, the functions for the Civic Amenity Center are provided and generated by CDA and service respectively. We can see the feasible functional linkage in here. This was linked with open space standard by WHO and other standards. For visual appropriateness, we can follow two major cues, or we found two major cues, large scale and small scale cues. The large scale cues are vertical rhythms, horizontal rhythms, skylines, and the small scale cues are the windows, wall details, ground floors, and base. From the sketches of the site surroundings, we get the idea of image, form, and context of the site. On the basis of our study, we developed a design framework for the Civic Amenity Center in Firingi Bazar. As you can see, there the functional linkage or permeability ensured. By ensuring the access, we found a node, and there were two previous nodes in site areas. We tried to connect the nodes and then move around from the area, and these are the approaches towards the site, and these are the pedestrian approach or the minor approaches from the surrounding areas. There are some demolition, or there can be some demolition done in previous buildings or structures to make a green space or open space and introduce two new volumes or forms for the amenity functions. The green will arise or create a relationship with the forms and make a better approach. And this one is a previous conserved building or previous functional building adjacent with our amenity center. So this is the final design framework of Firingi Bazar. This is the functional zoning and form orientation based on the findings and achieved guideline. In this part, for responsive design, we are assessing the values of responsive environment with projected image of a schematic design. Here you can see the legibility, which is showing node paths and other spaces. Next is permeability and variety, and then is robustness with different kind of robust spaces. Next one is richness, and there is visual appropriateness. So in conclusion, we can say one thing: since this is a pre-study, we have tried to regenerate and redesign civic spaces, keeping in mind the urban design qualities and current morphology later to provide with a guideline for designing civic amenity centers in different neighborhoods of Chittagong that can be facilitate future government planning. Thank you so much.